It's not going to be like it was, and we have to get used to that. It's not going to be as profitable. It's not going to be done in the same way. It's been disrupted. So we have to fashion what we do to the new environment.
You've made encouraging statements about the commercial value and the importance of newspapers, but the pressure continues on our revenue line. And so what are the core actions that publishers need to take, in your view, to reverse that trend and win back both advertiser confidence and ultimately their business?
Clients want better, they want effectiveness, better work, and efficiency at lower cost. This may sound a difficult thing to answer, but it isn't. This gives media owners the opportunity to engage with agencies such as ourselves, and even, dare I say it, directly with clients, but to do both, to try and work out more effective programs for them in the investment, we call it media investment management, of their media budgets. So how can we, together with you, together with media owners that are becoming increasingly consolidated, increasingly cross-platform, work out deals and arrangements that are even more attractive to our clients, and use these traditional media, which are under pressure, as you say, to provide more effective solutions in a world that is becoming much more competitive, where we're seeing slow growth and where there's very little of inflation and pricing power. So I think there are a lot of things that we can do together, by us treating the media, our agencies, as a client in a sense, and working closely with the media to see what our clients, in the more conventional sense, want and need. I think it's doable. And I think, as I say, the pendulum is moving back in some respects, not all respects, to traditional media and giving them a little bit of a boost and a potential advantage.
Now, your company has invested in a company as well that is very contemporary, and that's Vice. But how do you think then that maybe media owners might contemporize, for want of a better phrase, their journalism? How should it evolve?
It's very easy to pontificate about this, but what we have to do is to experiment. And we have to drive our traditional businesses digital. And where we have digital opportunities, or we have digital businesses, drive them forward. You have to do all three things. You have to change the engines on the aeroplane as you're flying. What you have to do with journalism, I think, is to apply it across all the platforms. And we have a rather stuffy view. I'm 70 years old. We have a stuffy view of what we think is right and what young people or millennials or centennials think is right. When Shane Smith started Vice, people said those people are not interested in news. That is not the case. If you look at Vice, if you look at Refinery 29, which is content for millennials, if you look at Flipboard, whatever it is that you look at, you will see a totally different approach. And that's what journalists, I think, have got to understand. And the BBC, the New York Times, the Guardian have a very traditional, in my view, approach to news and to journalism, which has to change. You know, the fact that Kanye West announces on the MTV Awards, either seriously or tongue-in-cheek, that he's going to be a presidential candidate in 2020 tells you a lot about what is going on. Basically what I'm saying is life has changed. Young people look at things differently. We have to get with it.
How do we, the newspaper industry, clearly demonstrate what we all believe to be true, which is, of course, that our content is highly engaging?
The answer, I think, is educated research. I have a vested interest in that. There's been some very effective work done in the UK showing, for example, that newspaper audiences are as big or even bigger than audiences of Google, for example. So there is clear, demonstrable research that can be demonstrated to clients and agencies that show the power of even traditional newspapers.
How do we do that when we hear so much about programmatic buying? Where does value selling and programmatic buying work together?
You can't fight the rise of programmatic. Newspapers can demonstrate the audiences that they are reaching. What our clients want is highly targeted, highly effective, pinpoint media planning and buying. I don't want to upset, well, here I go. I will upset
Feel free.
some of your later speakers. You wouldn't give your media plan if you're a client to a media owner. So why do you give it to Google? You know, Google monetizes its inventory just like any other media owner. Google is not a technology company, it is a media owner. The same thing applies to Facebook. The same thing applies to BuzzFeed, who we just recently did a deal with, or with Snapchat, who we did a deal with at Cannes, which we termed a new agency called Truffle Pig. These are media owners. Our role is to have an agnostic platform, programmatic platform like Xaxis, which gives our clients, with technology and data, the best way of reaching those audiences. You know, one of our clients refers to viewability, verification, and value, the 3 V's. Those 3 V's have to be front and center.
You could just tell us, because we're all living this world of fragmentation, and it is hard to understand sometimes, and it's, frankly, it can be quite overwhelming. So could you simplify what you think are going to be the prevailing forces over the next 5 years that we're going to feel and we're going to see evolve?
If you ask me what do I see, well, there are probably 3 things. Firstly, traditional print, there has to be more restructuring, reform, consolidation. But there is a very big opportunity in digital print and mobile print. I don't want to depress your people, but the people at your conference, but the real fact is this. In the environment, Larry and Sergey at Google, Mark Zuckerberg at Facebook, if you think about the business that they're in, effectively they're in the disruption business. People are still going to read, people are still going to watch, but they're going to watch them and they're going to read these things in a different way. And we just have to get used to it. You can't fight it. You lean back. The pendulum, one other modification, the pendulum swings. It probably swings too far, and I think we're seeing that on video, for example. It'll swing back, and it'll give even the traditional media owners in TV and in print an opportunity, but the tide is moving in the ways that I tried to describe.